In the year 1929, workers cleaning out a former imperial palace in Istanbul came across a piece of gazelle skin folded inside a wooden box. When they unrolled it, they were looking at a map. It was dated 1513. It was signed by an Ottoman admiral named Piri Reis, and it showed the coastline of a continent that, according to every history book ever written, no human being in 1513 was supposed to know existed. It showed Antarctica. Not just the existence of Antarctica, which would have been impossible to know in 1513, since Antarctica was officially discovered until 1820. The map showed the coastline of Antarctica accurately. Specifically, it showed the coastline as it would have looked beneath the ice, a coastline that no human eye has seen for over 12,000 years. Modern researchers compared the Piri Reis map to sub-ice radar surveys conducted in the 1950s by the United States Air Force. The match was, in some sections, exact. How did an Ottoman admiral in 1513 draw a map of a frozen continent's bedrock? The Piri Reis map is not the only one. In museums, archives, and sealed private collections around the world, there are maps that simply should not exist. Maps drawn before the places they show were officially discovered. Maps containing details that the mapmakers had no possible way to know. Maps that, when modern science finally caught up to them, turned out to be terrifyingly accurate. Stay until the end. The final map on this list is currently kept in a state museum in China, and the Chinese government has never officially explained how it was possible to draw it. Let's begin. Number 10. The Piri Reis map. We start with the map that began it all. The Piri Reis map was drawn in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral of the same name. According to his own annotations, he compiled it from over 20 older source maps, some of which he claimed dated back to the time of Alexander the Great, almost 2,000 years earlier. The map shows the coastlines of West Africa, the eastern coast of South America, and the upper coast of Antarctica, long before any of these had been mapped by European explorers in the form shown. The most disturbing detail is the rendering of the South American coast. It includes geographical features that, according to mainstream history, were not surveyed until the 19th century. Tributaries of the Amazon, the contour of the Brazilian highlands, the position of islands off the coast of Argentina. Piri Reis himself wrote that he was working from source maps that were older than any historical record. Those source maps have never been found. When asked in 1929 where the original sources had come from, the Ottoman authorities could only answer that they did not know. Number 9. The Haji Ahmed map. In 1559, a Turkish cartographer named Haji Ahmed produced a heart-shaped world map that was, for its time, a curiosity. Nearly 400 years, nobody paid much attention to it. Then, in the 20th century, modern researchers took a closer look, and what they found was disturbing. The Haji Ahmed map shows a continuous land bridge connecting Asia and North America across what is today the Bering Strait. This is correct. A land bridge did exist there, but it disappeared at the end of the last ice age, around 12,000 years ago. Haji Ahmed had no possible way of knowing this. The first scientific theories about the Bering Land Bridge were not proposed until the late 19th century. Even today, the existence of the land bridge is only confirmed through deep-sea sediment analysis and radiocarbon dating of submerged plant material. Yet there it is, drawn correctly on a Turkish map from 1559. What sources was Haji Ahmed working from? Like Piri Reis, he claimed he had access to ancient maps that no longer exist. Like Piri Reis, he never produced them. Number 8. The box map. In 1737, a French geographer named Philippe Boix published a map of Antarctica. This was 83 years before Antarctica was officially discovered. Boix had never been to the southern continent. No European had. The very existence of Antarctica was, at the time of his publication, only a theoretical proposition supported by no direct evidence. And yet his map shows Antarctica in startling detail. It shows the continent split into two large landmasses, separated by a strait of open water running through what we now call the Transantarctic Mountains. This is not what Antarctica looks like today. Today, Antarctica appears to be a single landmass because it is buried under nearly 2 miles of solid ice. But beneath that ice, modern radar surveys have confirmed exactly what Bosch drew. Antarctica is in fact two separate landmasses, joined together only by ice. If the ice were to melt, the continent would split into two. How did a French geographer in 1737 know this? Bosch claimed he had reconstructed his map from older Greek source documents. Those documents have never been located. Number 7. The Xenomap. In 1380, two Venetian brothers named Niccolo and Antonio set sail for the North Atlantic. When they returned, they brought back a map. The Xenomap shows the coastlines of Greenland, Iceland, and several islands further west. It shows Greenland in detail that suggests the mapmakers had circumnavigated the entire island, including coastlines that, in 1380, were buried under thick glacial ice. The Xenomap shows Greenland's underlying topography as it would appear without ice. Modern researchers have compared the Xenomap to 20th century radar surveys of Greenland's bedrock. The match is significant. Mountain ranges, coastal indentations, the shape of fjords now sealed beneath glaciers. Officially, the Xenomap is dismissed by mainstream scholars as a 16th century forgery. But the forgery hypothesis has its own problem. The radar data the map appears to match was not collected until the 1950s. A 16th century forger would have had to predict 400 years in advance what 20th century technology would eventually reveal. The map is either older than it pretends to be, or younger than it could possibly be. Number 6. The Vinland Map. In 1957, a battered 15th century parchment map surfaced in the antiquarian book trade. It showed northern Europe, the Atlantic Ocean, and on its western edge, an island labeled Vinlandilla Insula. Vinland, the Norse name for a place in the western Atlantic that, according to Icelandic sagas, Viking explorers had visited around the year 1000 AD. The Vinland map, if authentic, would prove that Europeans knew about North America almost 500 years before Columbus. The map was donated to Yale University, where it became one of the most studied and most controversial documents in the world. Tests on its ink, parchment, and pigments produced contradictory results across decades. Some studies declared it a modern forgery. Others found chemical signatures consistent with a genuine medieval document. In 2021, Yale University officially declared the map a forgery, citing modern titanium-based ink. But here's the strange part. The shape of Vinland on the map, the contours of its eastern coastline, matches the actual eastern coast of Newfoundland with surprising accuracy. A coastline that no European had officially mapped in the 15th century, and certainly not by a forger working without modern reference materials. Whoever made the Vinland map, real or fake, knew something they should not have known. Number 5. The Fra Mauro Map. In the year 1450, a French monk named Fra Mauro began constructing what would become one of the most detailed maps of the medieval world. Working in a monastery on the small Italian island of San Miguel, Fra Mauro spent over a decade gathering reports from sailors, merchants, and travelers. The result was an enormous circular world map nearly 2 meters across, painted on parchment and mounted on a wooden frame. The Fra Mauro map shows Africa, the entire continent, including the southern tip, over 40 years before Bartolomeo Diaz officially rounded the Cape of Good Hope. Fra Mauro shows Africa as something Europeans were not supposed to know it was, a continent that could be circumnavigated. He even depicts a ship sailing around it, with annotations describing a voyage that, according to his sources, had been completed by an unnamed crew approximately 20 years before he drew the map. That voyage is recorded nowhere else in European history. Who completed it? What nation did they sail under? Why did the European powers of the late 15th century behave as though the African coastline was unknown territory, when a French monk had already documented its full shape? The Fra Mauro map is on permanent display in Venice. Its sources have never been fully identified. Number 4. The Waldseemüller map. In 1507, a German cartographer named Martin Waldseemüller published a world map that contained one impossible feature. It showed the Pacific Ocean. This is significant because in 1507, no European had ever seen the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific would not be officially discovered by a European explorer until 1513, 6 years after the publication of the Waldseemüller map, when Vasco Núñez de Balboa first crossed the Isthmus of Panama and laid eyes on its waters. And yet, the Waldseemüller map shows the Pacific, correctly positioned, roughly correct in size, with the western coast of South America rendered in a shape that closely matches reality. Waldseemüller never explained where he got this information. The most likely answer, according to some researchers, is that he had access to information brought back by Portuguese or Spanish navigators, who had been exploring further than the official record acknowledged. Whose maps was Martin Waldseemüller really copying from? Number 3. The Mercator map of the Arctic. The famous cartographer Gerardus Mercator is best known for the Mercator projection, the standard way of representing the Earth on a flat map. But Mercator also drew something else. In 1569, he produced a detailed map of the Arctic, and his Arctic map showed something that has for centuries puzzled researchers. At the top of the world, Mercator drew a large landmass. He depicted it as 4 separate islands surrounded by open water, with a great whirlpool at the center. He attributed his source to an even older text, a manuscript called the Inventio Fortunata, supposedly written by an English friar in the 14th century. The Inventio Fortunata has never been found. What we do know is that modern mapping of the Arctic seabed reveals something close to what Mercator drew. There is no landmass at the North Pole today, but during the Ice Age, when sea levels were much lower, there may have been one. And the underwater topography of the Arctic Ocean does include large ridges and basins that with reduced sea levels would have appeared as separate landmasses. How did a friar in the 14th century know what the Arctic looked like during an era that ended thousands of years before he was born? Number 2. The Orens-Fine map-It. In 1531, a French mathematician and cartographer named Orens-Fine produced a heart-shaped map of the world. Like Boach nearly 2 centuries later, Fine drew Antarctica. But unlike Boach, Orens-Fine drew Antarctica with rivers. Specifically, his Antarctica shows large river systems flowing from the interior of the continent to the coast. Today, Antarctica has no surface rivers. It is buried under ice. But beneath that ice, modern subglacial mapping has revealed networks of ancient river channels carved when Antarctica was warm enough to have flowing surface water. Orens-Fine had no way of knowing this. He drew his map 290 years before Antarctica was officially discovered, and more than 400 years before subglacial radar revealed the existence of buried river systems. Where did Orens-Fine get his information? Like the others, he attributed his sources to ancient documents that have never been recovered. Some researchers have noted that nearly every cartographer on this list, Piri Reis, Haji Ahmed, Boach, Mercator, Fine, claim to be working from older sources. And in every case, those older sources have vanished from the historical record. Something existed, something was being copied, and then at some point, the originals disappeared. Number 1. The UG2. We end in China in the year 1137 AD. In that year, an unknown Chinese cartographer carved a stone tablet that would later be named the UG2, the map of the tracks of Yu. It is named after a legendary Chinese emperor who supposedly lived around 2000 BC. The UG2 is precise in a way that no medieval map should have been. It uses a coordinate grid system that was not officially developed in Europe for another 400 years. Its accuracy in depicting the rivers, mountains, and coastlines of China is approximately equivalent to a modern satellite-derived map. According to its inscription, the UG2 was a copy. The original, which has never been found, was attributed to the legendary Emperor Yu, the same figure whose dynasty supposedly stretched back over 3,000 years before the tablet was carved. Mainstream Chinese historians dismissed the legendary attribution. They argued the map represents the gradual accumulation of accurate geographic knowledge over many centuries. But the precision of the UG2 is hard to explain through gradual accumulation. The grid system, the relative positions of river sources, the accuracy of the coastline, all of it suggests that somewhere in China's history, somebody had access to information that could not have been produced through ordinary surveying. The UG2 is currently kept in a state museum in the city of Xi'an. The Chinese government has never officially explained how a map of this precision could exist in 1137. We only know that it does. And we know that, like every other map on this list, the source it was copied from is now lost. 10 maps. 10 documents that show places that should not have been known, drawn at times when the technology to know them did not yet exist, attributed to sources that have never been found. The pattern across all of them is the same. The map makers, by their own admission, were not the original cartographers. They were copyists. They were assembling fragments. They were working from older documents, documents that, in nearly every case, have since disappeared from the historical record. Something was lost. And what these maps tell us is that whatever was lost, it once contained an accurate picture of the Earth that, in some ways, was more complete than what we managed to recover. The question is not how these maps could have existed. The question is who made the originals and what happened to them. If this list disturbed you, then you need to see what comes next. I made a video about the ancient prophecies that came true in ways modern science still cannot explain. Subscribe before you go, because next week I am revealing the lost languages we have never been able to decipher. Some of them appear to predate writing itself.